pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Act 2023, an act relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency signed into law on March 29th, 2023. This meeting will be conducted via remote means and in person, as long as members of the public can easily access the proceedings in real time and participate remotely. Till further notice, this meeting will no longer be broadcast live. I should add, unfortunately. But it may be watched when the show is replayed on YouTube. Members of the public wish to participate in the meeting may do so in the following manner: in person at the Roadblock Room located on the second floor of Plymouth Town Hall, 26 Court Street, Plymouth, Mass. Note occupancy limit of the room may reduce the number of attendees that can be accommodated. You may also, if you're joining the meeting remotely, you can use the meeting ID and the passcode or the link that's on the agenda. You may also send any comment or questions that pertain to a current agenda item to publichealth@plymouth-ma.gov. They'll be read on the air and answered by the Board of Health as practicable. If time doesn't permit answers during the meeting, responses will be sent by email as soon as possible. So our first item of business is approval of the minutes. Do we have 3 people with us? Yes. Amy's there, I guess. Amy, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good.
So we're just gonna go over the minutes. Does anyone have any changes or corrections to the minutes they wish to make? Amy, anything?
Nothing.
Okay, Dr. Reed?
No.
Okay, I wasn't present for this meeting because I was about 3,000 miles away. So I won't have anything either. So all I have to do is ask for motion to approve the minutes from the meeting of May 7th.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
If there's any further discussion, hearing none, seeing none, I'll just call the roll. Dr. Reed?
Yes.
Meg?
Yes.
Amy? Yeah, yes or
Yep.
no?
Yes.
And I don't think Lorenzo is still with us. Not with us yet. Okay, so we have 3 votes in favor, 1 abstention, which would be me because I wasn't present. And Lorenzo is yet to join us. So I'm not sure if Lorenzo is not here yet, if we should go ahead with the reorganization. What do you think, Karen?
Well, technically, you're supposed to, not handle any further business because, technically, when someone is appointed to the board, like Lorenzo was reappointed last night, all of your positions ended. So now you're not a chair, you're not a vice chair, you're all members of the board, but there's no position. If you want to continue the meeting, and I don't have a problem with that, I could be the person who chairs it in the interim.
Okay.
And then when Lorenzo joins us, if you're all comfortable with that, then we can go ahead and do the reorg. It's totally up to you. That is an option that you guys have.
Okay, so what's the pleasure of the board members? Do you want to continue without Lorenzo?
With Karen, as the chair.
With Karen as the chair until Lorenzo appears?
Yes.
Okay. I
Okay.
guess you get to chair the meeting for a little while.
Okay, thank you. All right, so the first thing up on the agenda, then we'll move to the well variance request for 10 Scarlet Drive. This one's a little interesting. It's post facto, meaning it's already been done. But when they look to move something, they realized that the distance was not what they anticipated to be. So now they're asking for a variance after the fact, post facto. So, yeah. The engineer was John Varengo from Westside Drilling, does a lot of work here in Plymouth. They replaced the existing well. It was going to twice the depth, which is good because that improves the quality of the water and it brings nitrate levels down considerably. The new well was placed approximately 3 feet to the right of the existing well. Therefore, the distance to the locust well and the abutting well did not change. So there's no need to notify the abutters. But there is a change for what they did for them, the new well location. So it's in the ground.
Yeah, I hope so.
It's already there, and we have the new well test.
It's already there, we already have the water test, it's tested fine, yep, so it's just that we have to go through the process. And so that's why it's before the board tonight, that, you still have to make a motion to either approve or not approve, and then vote accordingly.
I just have a question. If
Sure.
it's in the same place, why did they,
It's actually 3 feet different.
It's deeper.
I know it's deep.
No, but they had to move it a little bit.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
something wrong with the other one or what?
Yeah, I think it actually, they were selling the house and they wanted the well to be replaced.
Oh,
Yeah, because they wanted it to be deeper.
oh,
Yeah, so, it was all part of the sale of the home, so I think that's maybe why something didn't quite follow the process as it should.
right.
Lorenzo's here,
Okay,
so we can finish up with this
Yeah, we
particular
can
thing,
finish this.
yeah, and then we'll go back, so, if there are any questions from any members of the board regarding this request for a post facto approval of a new well installation? If not, will someone make a motion to approve this variance request for 10 Scarlet Drive?
I'll make the motion since I'm not currently the chair.
Is there a second on that motion?
I'll second.
Perfect. Any more discussion? No? All those in favor?
Well, we have to
Oh,
do
I,
it because of
Amy Donovan?
I know,
Amy?
yes, I
Yes.
approve it, yes.
Okay, Meg,
Yes.
Dr. Reed?
Yes.
And Dr. Coffin?
Yes,
Okay, so that is passed unanimously.
did Lorenzo vote?
No,
He didn't hear,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna say that we're gonna just skip that one for him right now. Lorenzo, can you hear us?
Yeah, there is a few folks on the old link that I was on, and I remember seeing the email that updated the link. There's Fred Ties and a few other people on the other Zoom that's sitting there. I could go back there and tell them, but just wanted to come back to this and say, hey, there's a few people on the old Zoom link. I was one
Okay,
of them.
so maybe what we could do, how can we do this? If anyone who's on the old link can go back, can you get in touch with Fred Lorenzo? Can you get in touch
I
with people that you
will.
know? Okay.
Yeah, I'll leave here and then I'll go back there and tell them.
Okay, the easiest way to do this is for them to go back to the town's website and click on the link,
Okay,
the current link. To go into meetings, go into Board of Health, click on the agenda, and then click on that link. That should bring them right to here. And we'll wait a
Okay.
couple of minutes. Yeah, we'll wait a couple of
Thanks.
minutes for that to happen. Thank you.
I'll leave.
Okay, so let's let him do that. Because if people are wanting to be here, I'd like them to be here. If everyone's okay with just waiting a couple of minutes for that to happen.
Did he say Zach wasn't on? Cause I see Zach's name.
No, Zach, you said Fred
Oh,
Ties.
Fred Ties.
Yeah. So. Okay, we'll just wait a minute on that. So that's done. I'll pass it back to you. Okay. Okay. All right, so I'll keep an eye on my email too, in case anyone emails me saying like, hey, where are you guys? So I don't have anything like that right now. but- Okay. Oh, we got a lot of applications for the nurse. Public health
Yeah,
nurse.
I asked Linda if she could get her hands on them. She said she was trying. How many are there?
Oops, I just lost it. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Wow.
That's amazing.
11, but I will, with the caveat that only one actually went through the town of Plymouth's process to apply. The others sent resumes through Indeed. So they would still have to,
Well, that means a lot of interviews, unless we want to pre-screen them.
well, I mean, that's up to the group. There are a couple here that I think.
Is Lorenzo back? Yep,
He's
there's
back,
Lorenzo.
okay. Two,
Okay, Lorenzo,
two,
you're still the chair, Karen, so you have.
yeah,
We can't hear you, Lorenzo.
Yeah, they should be coming now. The few folks that dropped.
okay, I see Fred. Okay,
Yep.
I see Haley. Okay, great. All right, thanks so much, Lorenzo. Okay, so the next, we're gonna go back to what we skipped, which was the Board of Health reorganization. So, we do this every year in June. The select board hears people who are interested in being part of any of the boards and committees. This year, we had one person up, that would be Lorenzo. He put his name in to be, reappointed. And last night, the select board did vote to reappoint Lorenzo. So when anything like that happens, there has to be a reorg of all the boards and committees, not just the Board of Health. So I am going to now ask if anyone would like to make, okay, so we do chair and vice chair. I will chair the nominations for chair, and then whoever is selected as chair will then take over the rest of the meeting, as well as the vice chair election. So I will now open the floor to nominations for chair of the Board of Health.
I would like to make a motion to nominate Lorenzo Sarah for
Okay,
chair.
all right. We have a nomination for Lorenzo for chair. Do I hear a second for Lorenzo?
I'll second that.
Okay, Amy seconds it. Okay. So are there any other nominations for chair? Okay. Seeing none, I'm gonna close the nominations for chair. And we already have a nomination, we have a second, so I'm going to call the roll. We have one person nominated, that would be Lorenzo for chair of the Board of Health, so I'm going to start with Amy, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Meg, yes or no?
Yeah.
Dr. Reed, yes or no?
Yes.
Dr. Potvin, yes or no?
Yes.
And Lorenzo, do you want to vote?
I'll abstain.
Okay. Okay. So, we have four, votes yes, one abstention. So Lorenzo Pizarro, you are now the chair of the Board of Health.
Well, thank you very much. Before I move on, I just wanted to say thank you to Dr. Potvin and Dr. Reed for really helping throughout this time. I know that Dr. Potvin and yourself, Karen, during the last few years have really just done some wonderful work, hard work, and just want to recognize that officially. So thank you very much for putting
Thank
that
you.
confidence.
All right, so now, Lorenzo, the meeting is yours. Do you have a copy of the agenda, or do you want me to kind of like guide you through it?
If you could, I do have a copy. I have a guide. I know that one of the items in the agenda is the chairperson's announcement, so I don't really have any announcements to make. I didn't really,
Okay.
leave it to
That's
there.
okay. Yeah, we can definitely talk about that as a board. So the next step that we should do, though, is we should ask for nominations for vice chair, Lorenzo. So you want to open that up, or?
Yeah, I'd like to ask for any nominations for vice chair.
I nominate Dr. Reed.
Okay. Is there a second for Dr. Reed as vice chair? Okay. Are there any other nominations for vice chair? Oh, I'm sorry, Lorenzo.
Are there any other nominations? It's fine. That's wonderful. Are
My
there any
goodness.
other nominations for vice chair? Thank you. Hearing and seeing none, it's closed. So we'll take a vote. I'll start with Dr. Potvin,
Yes.
Amy Palmer,
Yes.
Meg Payne,
Yeah.
and myself, yes, unanimous. Dr. Terry Reed, would you like to vote?
No, I'll abstain. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So, 4 affirmative, 1 abstention. Dr. Terry Reed is our vice chair for the Plymouth Board of Health. Thank you.
And I would just like to take this moment to thank all of you for volunteering. That we recognize this is a volunteer position, And you all do such an amazing job, and I think Plymouth and its residents and visitors are lucky to have the five of you, and Deb, who isn't with us tonight. But Deb Zona serves as our alternate, so. All right, great.
Okay, so moving on, we're gonna start with, next part of our agenda, the well variance request. Is that for 10 Scarlet Drive?
Yeah, that happened while you weren't quite here yet.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so we're up to the septic variance request.
For 145 Sandy Beach Road, Zach Basinski.
Correct. And that
Good evening,
is
Mr.
on.
Chairman. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Again, for the record, Zach Basinski, professional engineer, Bracken Engineering. I'm going to share my screen at this time. So here on behalf of the property owner, the Sandy Beach, this is 145 Sandy Beach down in South Plymouth. The existing property was created in 1952. It's an existing 6,300 square foot lot, butted to the north by single-family houses, to the south by a single-family house, Sandy Beach Road to the west, and then White Island Pond to the east. Existing three-bedroom house that was built in 1902. Existing well is in the house and currently served by a septic tank and an old leach pit design system. Property owner is looking at doing some renovations to the house. The project's been reviewed and approved both through zoning and through the Conservation Commission. So in front of the Board of Health tonight to ask for local upgrade approval for some extra cover over the top of the system, and then a couple variances to increase the required setbacks for the septic system. We have an on-site well providing 82 feet of setback, asking for an 18-foot variance. That's our own locus well. And then we have one to the north of us at 149 Sandy Beach, where we're asking for a 85-foot setback with a variance for that. In order to achieve the greatest setback to both wells, we're asking for relief to two property lines on the lot. So we're asking to maintain a 6-foot setback to the right of way of Sandy Beach, and then a 6-foot setback to the abutter at 141 Sandy Beach. This still does maintain the 100-foot radius to the property at 141. We believe we've designed it so it'll protect both the residents and it'll be a vast improvement over the system that's there today. And I will turn it back over.
Thank you, Zach. Before we take questions from the board, is there a comment or recommendation from the Public Health Division? Karen?
Yes, thank you. The division would recommend approval. I think it's in all aspects, it is an improvement, that it's getting rid of something that's detrimental and putting in a system that is Title V compliant, which has always been the goal of both the department and the board. So yes, we would recommend approval. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to take the chance to go through around the circle with any questions that board members may have. I'll start with Dr. Potvin.
Just wondering if we've heard from any abutters, is there a green card in there?
I know I saw them somewhere. Yeah, they were notified and we have record of notification. Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
That's all I have, thanks.
Yep.
Thank you. Dr. Reed.
I don't have any questions.
No questions. Amy Palmer.
No questions.
Thank you. And then Meg Payne.
No question.
Sharon, did you mention that Deb Zona is here?
No,
Okay, great.
when I was thanking everyone, I said that she wasn't there, so, but I want to
Okay.
thank her anyway. Yeah.
And I don't have any further questions, so I'd like to entertain a motion to recommend approval of this variance.
So moved.
So Dr. Potvin makes a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. We'll go around for a vote. Dr. Potvin,
Yes.
Dr. Reed,
Yes.
Amy Palmer,
Yes.
Meg Payne,
Yeah.
and myself, yes, unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
Good night,
Thanks,
Zach.
Zach.
The second, moving on from grease trap variants, I think there's quite a few of them. The first one is the Anchor House, Robert German.
Here. Can I
Great.
stand?
You can come.
You can come right up here if you could. Thank you. Just so everyone can hear you. Thanks.
Stand right here?
Just sit.
Oh,
Enjoy yourself.
I'm with that.
Okay.
I am Bob German. I'm the executive director of Anchor House. And this is Cameron Lightner. He's one of our folks. Hi. We are looking for a grease trap variance. A little bit of history. Anchor House was opened in 1971 as a shelter for homeless alcoholics. Over the years, we've developed into a comprehensive residential treatment program that is state funded by the Department of Public Health, Bureau of Substance Addiction Services. It is a 20-bed facility. That is what we are licensed for. We cannot add any beds. We are inspected by Plymouth inspection, and they know that we're a 20-bed facility. I have some documentation if you'd like to see it. The public health says that we can only serve 20 people. We're not open to the public. We're simply a treatment program. And so we have a 25-gallon grease trap that we have emptied, that we have serviced by Patriot Services in Bridgewater. They do it every 3 months. When they have done it, they have said that they're basically taking out about 2 gallons of grease. We don't use a lot of grease in our food. So my belief is that the need to get a different type of grease trap program would be cost prohibitive and also overkill.
Okay, thank you. Before we have any more questions from the board, we'll do the same kind of format. I'd like to ask the Public Health Division if they have any recommendations.
Yes, thank you. So our fats, oils and grease team, which consists of the sewer division, engineering division, plumbing division, and public health division, did make a site visit on December 16th. All four of them unanimously agreed that based on appliances in the kitchen and the potential for grease generation, they are recommending installing an automatic grease trap. Things that they saw on the menu included chicken tacos, meat lasagna, barbecue chicken, chicken sausages, peppers, onions, and beans, pasta, raviolis, things that definitely generate grease when they're cooked and when they're cleaned. So in light of that, the Fats, Oils, and Grease team is recommending unanimously that they upgrade to an automatic grease trap.
Thank you, Karen. I'll go around the room for questions, comments from the board members. Dr. Potvin, do you have any questions for?
No questions. I usually feel that the inspection team's recommendation should probably be followed unless there's unusual circumstances.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Reed, any questions?
I just have a question about space. Was there any mention made?
So they did take a photograph of the area and there is space in the kitchen to put in an automatic grease trap.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that above and beyond what we have?
Right, you have a passive grease trap right now, so what they're recommending is an internal automatic. It's either an internal automatic or it's a 2,000 external, 2,000 external. So the Fats, Oils and Grease team strongly recommending that you upgrade your passive to an automatic internal.
Any further questions, Dr. Reed?
No.
Amy Palmer, do you have any questions?
No questions.
Nope. Thank you. And then Meg Payne?
No question.
Yeah, I have no further questions. I will go around and take a vote, or I'll ask for a motion for denying the variance and based upon the recommendation of the subject matter experts on the FOG team.
Point of order, do we have to entertain the motion to approve the variance?
No,
We can do it.
generally you should do it in a positive order, which means that the variance has been requested, so the motion would be that you move to grant the variance, because that's
That's what I meant.
the action that's being requested. Yep.
Well, thank you, Dr. Potvin.
You worded it the other way, so
Yeah.
I wanted to
Right.
make sure it was clear.
I'll make a
So-
motion to approve the variance.
Okay.
Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you. We'll go around for a vote.
That supporting the department, that.
No.
I know.
Okay,
No.
so Amy made the motion to approve the variance. Now, you
Yes.
either vote yes or no. So if you want them to have the variance, meaning they get to keep what they have, you would vote yes, that you want the variance to be granted. If you want to follow what the FOG team is recommending, then you would vote no, you're voting against the variance.
Okay.
And that's the way it's going to be probably for the next 6 of them. We'll do it the same way.
Okay.
If that's okay with you, Lorenzo.
No, that's perfect, because I wanted to keep with point of order and kind of the same format that's
Yeah.
repeatable. So we'll go around. Dr. Potvin, yes or no?
No. No.
Dr. Reed,
No.
Amy Palmer,
No.
Meg Payne,
No.
and myself, no. So the variance is not granted, right?
Correct, variance is not granted, you'll need to upgrade to an internal automatic.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's with
I'm sorry,
immediately.
well, we're not gonna tell you to do it tomorrow, I mean, you could, no, in all honesty, because you have to get a plumber, sometimes that's difficult, we understand you have to order equipment, we understand that, so what will happen is. When you do gather that information, but you should do it quickly, you know, at least get the plumber on board and order the equipment, then you can just let us know in the department. I think did you talk to Margaret Coe, our health agent? Okay, so Margaret Coe is our health agent in the department on the first floor. And then you could reach out to her to just give her a timeline, and then we just update it in our records and we just go from there.
I also have a fine of $100.
Okay, so we'll talk to Margaret about that.
Okay.
Thank you, Bob,
That's it.
for
That's it.
your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Next on the agenda is Best Western Cold Spring, Archit Patel. Is available to walk us through the variance request.
so someone is here.
I
Yes.
was filling. So I'm the general manager at the Best Western Plus Cold Spring in Plymouth. We did request a variance on.
You just tell us your name,
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Rebecca Needham, sorry.
Archie.
Archie. I don't know if I'll look like an Archie though.
Okay.
Right, so we did request a variance, just because we don't actually have a kitchen. We just heat and serve, we microwave, food just for breakfast in the morning. We don't have a grill or cooktop or quick fans or anything like that.
We just do the microwave.
That's it, just a microwave.
What kind of food is that?
It's breakfast items, it's, you know, the eggs, that's kind of, you know, like with, just kind of, we do serve bacon, but we use paper towels to wipe out the containers before we pour everything down the drain.
Okay. Are there any
Um,
further questions? I know that there's been some dialogue back and forth regarding this, but before I do that, is there a recommendation from the Public Health Division?
There is, thank you. So, again, the Fats, Oils and Grease team, went out, did an inspection on April 7th, 2025. They recommend, that you grant the variance, and they also recommend, though, that you do put something in there, like a passive
Okay.
grease container. Nothing, not an automatic internal, not the external 2000, but just something to catch
something.
that in the sink, if
That's
you
fair.
could, yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's what the recommendation is, to grant the variance with that.
Okay, thank you. I'll go around the room for any other further questions, just following that format. Dr. Potvin,
No questions.
Dr. Reed,
No questions.
Amy Palmer,
Yeah, and Karen, will this be a monthly pumping that that will be required with passive strap?
Probably not that often.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say they probably would need to check it maybe every 3 months. I mean, it really is minimal, but we just want something there to stop it from going directly, like you said, the bacon.
Yeah.
Minimal, but still enough that we want to do stop.
Yeah. So it'll be every 3 months and assess from there?
Correct.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yep.
okay. And then any questions, Meg Payne?
No.
All right, I don't have any further questions either. So can I get a motion from the board on the variance with,
Yeah.
and help me, Karen, with the verbiage regarding the
Yes.
passive, adding the passive.
Right.
Yeah.
So Amy, did you make, you made the motion?
I
right?
can make the motion, I'll
Okay.
make a motion to accept the variance for a passive grease trap to be pumped every 3 months.
Correct. Perfect.
Is there a second?
A second.
Thank you, Dr. Potvin. I'll take a vote. Dr. Potvin,
Yes.
Dr. Reed,
Yes.
Meg Payne,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Amy Palmer too,
Yeah.
and then yes for me, so unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the list is Cupcake Charlie's, Daniel Lessa.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Perfect, perfect. Dan Lessa here from Cupcake Charlie's down in Plymouth. And I've applied for the variance for the grease trap upgrade, a grease interceptor upgrade. My business is a small family-owned business, and we've been doing business in Plymouth since 2008. We have our grease interceptor pumped, every 6 months or so. Ready Rooter and Sandwich does it for us. And we've never really had any problems with it. Like the previous person stated that, they only take a little bit out of there. They've never said to me it's over full or you should do it more often or, there's a problem here. We have trained our staff to, when we use our utensils and spatulas and wipes and equipment, everybody wipes everything down. It goes in the trash before we go into the sink, just because I don't want to have any problems. And I don't want to waste product. So we make sure that everybody is trained to not waste product and it shouldn't go down the sink. We have the ice cream, soft serve ice cream. That gets thrown, anything that gets poured off that doesn't get used gets thrown into the trash. And when we clean the ice cream machine, we have a dedicated person that does that. They're very good at it. And that gets thrown and disposed of into a 5 gallon, 3.5 gallon, 5 gallon pail, whatever we have. And that gets thrown into the trash as well. So we're super observant of the grease and that goes into the trap. And I'm asked, so we make sure that we do that. The other thing is that, like I said, we're a small business. Obviously, everybody, wants to save money here and there. I feel that it would be very economically challenging for us to change into the upgraded system. It's fairly expensive.
Oh,
It flows.
Oh, Dan. Yep.
Yeah, he falls. So it's definitely him. 'Cause
Our
everyone else
hold,
is-
so I'm asking for the variance.
Dan, you froze a little bit for about 10 seconds. So if there was anything material
Of
before
course.
your last sentence of asking for the variance that you wanted to restate.
Thank you so much. Yes, so the second part I wanted to discuss was the space is going to be very, very limited. You have pictures there. The location of the grease trap is extremely tight. When we built the space out, we did it so that it would be cost effective for us and space effective for us. So there's very, very little space. And the 3-bay sink would have to be removed. We'd have a plumber in, electrician in, no different than anybody else, but I'm asking for the variance due to the fact that it's cost prohibitive, it's space prohibitive, and we take precautions in maintaining a clean environment with very as little amount of grease that we can get into the trap. So I'm asking respectfully for a variance.
Thank you, Dan. And this isn't specific to you, but just in general for variance, if I just want to reiterate and that financial hardship is not in it itself proper grounds for variance or waiver request. So just want
I
to
understand that.
put that out there.
I understand that.
Thank you. I'm going to take, before we take questions from the board, again, is there a recommendation from the Public Health Division and the FOG team?
Yes, thank you. So, a site visit was conducted on April 23rd, and, the team has unanimously recommending that the variance not be granted, that they recommend installing an automatic grease interceptor connected to the 3-bay sink. They also mentioned the menu demonstrates high use of fats, oils, and grease, and unfortunately, really through no fault of Cupcake Charlie's, but the location is in a hotspot, which means the level of grease that's happening in that particular location of the sewer is really, really high. I mean, it's so high. So that therefore the team is recommending not to approve the variance, to go ahead and require that an automatic internal be put in Cupcake Charlie's.
Thank you, Karen. I'll go around the room for any questions. Dr. Potvin?
No questions, just, comment that especially in a hotspot, we have to be very, very cautious about what could happen to the sewer system. So, when we make rulings about this, our primary concern is probably has to be not making sure that there's no additional fats, oils, and greases beyond whatever the sewer system can handle.
Thank you, Dr. Potvin. Dr. Reed, any questions?
is there currently a passive grease trap or there's none? I missed that.
There is one.
There's a passive.
That you get pumped every 6 months, I think you said.
Is
That's
that
correct.
correct?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's a grease interceptor that gets pumped on 6 months at a time.
How much do they get when they pump it? Just curious.
They've never told, I don't know how much they get. They just pump it out and tell me that it's been done. I have no idea on the quantity.
Okay. That's all I have.
Thank you, Dr. Reed. Any questions, Amy?
No question, thank you.
Any questions, Meg, Ping?
No question.
And I agree with, I would just want to concur with Dr. Potvin's comments. We have to be concerned about the fog, fats, oils, and grease, and especially regarding the hotspot nature. That the team is, as we've heard before in a previous board meeting, many years of experience And they are the subject matter experts within the town. So I'll take, with that, I'll take a motion to approve the variance, or a motion to vote on the variance.
I'll make a motion to approve the variance.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
So does,
Thank
is
you.
that depend?
No,
No, you're gonna vote no.
if you, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Right. So we'll vote, just to reiterate, a yes vote is approving the variance, and a no vote is, not approving the variance and going along with the FOG, team's recommendation. Is that correct, Karen?
That's correct.
Yes. So Dr. Potvin,
No.
Dr. Reed,
No,
Amy Palmer,
No,
Meg Payne,
No,
and myself, no.
So the variance was not granted. You'll have to install the automatic internal.
Understood.
All right, thank you.
Thank you,
Can
Dan.
anybody there explain to me what the hotspot is?
It's a level of, when the sewer takes a look at what's happening through the whole sewer system. It takes a look at where are the spots that are actually having high levels. Really high unacceptable levels of fats, oils, and grease coming into the system. And your restaurant is located in the highest spot in the town.
Got it. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan. Next on the list is Mary Lou Sandry. Is she available?
Barry Luke is here. You're speaking to Jody Murphy, COO of the company, and Jody Wild.
Hi.
Hi, hi folks. Thank you for having us here today. So we're asking for a variance. Forgive me. I know you guys have the application. They have all the information. We were under the impression that we have two passive grease traps, one internally and one externally.
You do.
And again, like one of the other people that spoke here, we don't cook anything. It's all pre-cooked. We have what you call a managed chef. It's a convention microwave. Although on the other side of the phone, I also understand we have cream. So, which we don't, we're giving it to customers, but that is as toxic as grease. So, I mean, again, we think we are overkill for what we do, but we're here to find out what the Board of Health thinks.
Thank you very much.
That's why
Before we move on, is there a recommendation from the Public Health Division and the FOG team?
There is, as they stated, they actually do have an external grease trap, oh my gosh, grease trap, which is pumped quarterly, and an internal grease trap, which is pumped monthly. The Public Health Division, along with the Fats, Oils, and Grease team, do recommend that you grant this variance. We do believe that if they continue with, pumping the external quarterly and the internal monthly, that you are, meeting the threshold of what you need to do to stop grease from going into the sewer.
and all that is contracted with the individuals we sent to you guys.
Yes.
Patriot.
And we have that, yes, they
When-
did share the contracts. So the variance is, recommended to be granted as long as they continue with the process that they currently follow with the pumping.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Karen. I'll take questions from the board. Dr. Potvin,
No questions.
Dr. Reed,
no questions.
Amy Palmer,
Yeah, what size is the external trap right now?
External, 1,000 gallons.
Okay, thank you. That's all, thanks.
thank you, Amy. Any questions, Meg?
Yeah, we're just, I just want to confirm it's just for the Overy Street,
Yes.
location.
That's the cruise.
Yeah.
Oh, We weren't asked about the others.
Okay.
That's the only address I.
54 Overy Street.
Yes.
Correct, but we weren't, because we're not on public service in the other one.
You're right, your septic,
So there's septic and
Yeah.
management and then Cedar.
right, so if you destroy your septic, that's on you.
Yeah, that's you.
That's not going anyplace else except
They've been replaced.
back
already.
into your place.
Yeah.
And the whole, and that's true, this is why we talk about the sewer system, because it's not just on you, it's on everyone who's on the sewer system, whereas we don't make that distinction with people who have current septic. Because in all honesty, the only impact that would be made if you don't maintain a septic system is on you. Whereas we have to be careful as the sewer is shared, so that's why
I
we're,
mean, we have Wind River out quarterly to all locations that have.
you do,
And they're supposed to, I think they log in with you guys.
they do.
And then we got Patriot do also, all the locations
And we have them
required by
too.
you guys. as
Yep.
well.
Yeah, and to your point, Karen, the cost to the town, if there's a sewer backup, is outrageous. You know, so it's, as much as it's protecting the people attached to that sewer, it's just, it's efficient way to make sure that the sewer keeps running and the town doesn't incur any additional cost to fix it.
Because it is catastrophic.
It is
It's a catastrophic level expense if
Yes.
something should happen to the
Yes.
sewer system.
Yeah. So.
Well, thank you for that. I have no questions, so I'll take a motion to approve the variance.
I'll make a motion to approve the variance to keep passive trap and pump external trap quarterly and internal trap monthly.
Yeah, thank you, Amy. Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you, Dr. Potvin. We'll take a vote. Dr. Potvin,
Yes.
Dr. Reed,
Yes,
Amy Palmer,
Yeah.
Meg Payne,
Yeah.
and yes for me. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank
Sorry it took us so long to get in here. We had some office issues.
Oh, that's fine. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
good night. Yeah.
The next grease trap variance request is from Cold Spring Athletic Club, Steve Finnegan. Able to make a presentation?
Yeah, I'm Steve, I'm the manager of the Cold Spring Club. And on the grease trap, we don't really cook any food in house, everything's catered and everything's served on plasticware, all the cups are plastic, all the plates plastic. And everything goes in the trash, nothing goes down the drain.
Mhm.
That came in like a month or so ago. And that's all I got.
All right,
So,
thank
yes.
you. Is there a recommendation from the Public Health Division and the FOG team?
there is, as you mentioned, a site visit was conducted on April 7th, 2025. And the team, does make note that disposable plates and silverware are the only things used. Records show that there's about only 2 to 3 events per year. Those are actually catered. And that, they would recommend waiver of the grease trap requirement due to the use and type of kitchen recommended.
Thank you for
So-
that, Karen. Oh, go ahead. Sorry about that.
I will make, one note that, the sewer division did make a note that they believe that they should at least have a passive grease trap, but engineering, plumbing and public health all recommended that the variance be granted as is, as requested. So 3-1,
3-1.
yeah.
Thank you. I'll go around for any questions. Dr. Potvin,
No questions.
Dr. Reed,
No questions.
Amy Palmer.
Yeah, I have a question. If you would have like the kitchen small and what kind of sink is there? Is it a 3-bay or? is it
Oh, no,
just regular?
it's like an icon. It's got a
Okay.
sink, it's got a stove, a microwave, and the refrigerator has condiments in it.
Okay, thank you. That was my question.
Thank you, Amy. Meg Payne, any questions?
No.
I don't have any questions either. Can I entertain a motion to approve the variance?
I'll make that motion to approve the variance.
Thank you. Second,
A second.
thank you, Dr. Reed. We'll take a vote. Dr. Potvin,
Yes.
Dr. Reed,
Yes.
Amy Palmer,
Yes.
Meg Payne,
Yeah.
and myself, yes. Thank you. All right, thank you, Steve. I think your variance is passed, right, Karen? Is there any follow-up with them?
No, there's no follow-up, unless you change the nature of your club. And we'll be
Thank you.
visiting you again.
Thank you, everybody, have a good evening.
Thanks, you too.
Thanks. Our last grease trap variance request comes from Abeta Bar and Grill. Michael Grant.
Hello.
Hello?
So this one's a little interesting. I'm gonna remind the group, if it's okay with you, Lorenzo, through the chair,
Yeah.
what has transpired with this particular location. Michael came to the board, on May 5/7, the May meeting. And he requested a variance for his grease trap. The group, the sewer division said no, he wanted the grease trap upgraded. Engineering also said that they wanted to install the automatic grease trap. Plumbing is well recommended, and then health back on 5/7 did say that they also thought that an automatic should be installed. The difference here is that Mr. Grant is not planning on renewing his lease. He is not the owner of the building. He is leasing a portion of the building for his particular establishment. With that information that we got from Mr. Grant at the last meeting, we tabled his variance request, and I went back to the team. And I said, my board has said, let's table it. We have some additional information. Let's talk about that. So now I'm here to update the board on, since that meeting, what in the information given from Mr. Grant, what has conspired. So here we are. Sewer still recommends installing an automatic grease trap. Engineering says, okay, we will approve granting the variance until July 31st, 2026. Then you must also submit monthly pumping records to the Public Health Division. If for some reason you stay beyond July 31st, 2026, an automatic grease trap must be installed within 30 days. Okay, then plumbing still recommends an automatic grease trap. Health said, okay, owner must submit monthly pumping records on the first of each month to the Public Health Division. And if your lease goes beyond July 31st, 2026, you'll have to upgrade to an automatic grease trap within 30 days. If the restaurant owner terminates their lease agreement prior to the stated date of July 31st, 2026, this variance would not apply to the new owner. So those are all stipulations that the team has made. So it's actually split. Two of the group feels that there still should be an automatic grease trap installed, and two of the group feel that in light of the fact of the renting situation and the not planning on renewing the lease until let it stay the way that it is until July 31st, 2026. And then review at that time. If a new restaurant comes in, it would not be the same, the variance would not roll over. This is just for this particular person, with this particular business, at this particular place and time.
Okay, thank you, Karen. I'll go around and ask questions, so Dr. Potvin, do you have any questions?
No questions.
Dr. Reed?
I can't remember from before, were was there a passive grease trap?
Yes. Right now, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yes, there
Yes.
is currently passes.
And it gets pumped.
Yep. It's good. It gets pumped,
regularly. And
monthly, since I've been here for the last 6 years, I've been compliant with the regulations.
Yep,
Okay,
it's true.
okay.
Thank you. Amy Palmer, any questions?
I do, so at the Cupcake Charlie's, we talked about them being a hotspot. Is this at a hotspot in town, or is this kind of?
This is a little further away. Yeah,
So you wouldn't describe it as an area of concern in the sewer system?
no, and if he wasn't a hotspot, all four of the people would be saying absolutely no.
And then my other question is do you check to see how much grease is removed when they pump it?
Yes, we get a
Yeah.
record of that.
So
Yeah,
they'll give you like how much is on the top, how much is on the bottom.
Correct.
And you,
Yep.
and you feel comfortable enough with what you see they're producing to recommend?
we do with those stipulations.
Yeah.
That we acknowledge that, the variance would be granted only for this particular owner, only until that particular time. Not to be extended. Now, I know the owner of the building, has expressed to us that he does not plan on renting to another restaurant.
But
But just in case that happens, I think your motion should include, only for this particular owner, this particular, food establishment, only until July 31st, 2026.
can I, what if, so we say, all right, well, if you renew the lease, back.
He has 30 days.
30, can we, okay, I
So,
was just trying to think like, I mean.
so if July 31st comes around
Yeah,
and, Michael is still there
yeah,
on, August 1st, I will be like, hello.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Hello, Michael, guess what?
yeah,
Here's your 30-day, here's your letter, your order
Yeah.
of 30 days from now, you have to have an automatic internal grease trap or you will not be operating.
yeah, I know, I can't imagine you would sign it on July 31st, like if you're renewing a lease.
Correct,
You probably
right.
know
We would
some
know.
months ahead.
Yep,
And I would suspect that you would respect the fact that we're granting this, and if you do renew, you would immediately get an automatic restrap. We don't have to put that into the recommendations, but I'm just saying that if it's like, if all of a sudden in February, you're like, oh, I am gonna renew, but I'll just wait till July to get the grease trap, I hope you wouldn't do that.
No, based on my track record with the town and me following
Yes.
regulations, I haven't done that way. So.
I mean, great, thank you. Thank you, that's all my questions.
Thank you. Meg Payne, any questions?
No questions.
Thank you. I don't have any further questions. Thank you. So, Karen, if we have a motion and just refer to the Public Health Division recommendation and the documentation, would that be sufficient? Because it
it
does
is. Yeah.
list all those things.
Yeah, absolutely. You could say, yeah, we can definitely make that motion. We have the wording right here. Mhm.
Can I have a motion to approve with the stipulations outlined in the documentations from Public Health Division recommendation?
So moved.
Thank you, Dr. Poffman. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Amy. We'll go around for the vote. Dr. Potvin,
Yes.
Dr. Reed,
I still have questions.
Okay, that's
Oh,
fine.
About the wording.
Okay.
So a yes vote for this would be
I-
to accept the variance.
Right, we would accept the variance
Mhm.
that they have requested
Yes,
with the following stipulations, that the owner must submit monthly public records on the first of the month to the Public Health Division, which they do anyway. And if they extend their lease beyond the date stated of July 31st, 2026, they will install an automatic grease trap within 30 days, and that this variance would not apply to any new owner. This is just set in this time period with this particular owner.
thank you. My vote is yes.
thank you. Amy Palmer,
Yeah.
Meg Payne,
Yeah.
and myself, yes, as well. So the variance passes, looks like.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So as far as reporting.
Michael.
You're gonna keep doing what you're doing.
Okay.
Yeah, your companies that you're working with are doing what they need to do.
Okay, so-
You just need to remember that it's just for you.
Yep.
And it's not even if you say you sell your business to someone else, it
Yep,
does
yeah.
not go to them.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for that. We had all those grease trap variances and we're a little bit over time. but we'll get back on track. The next agenda item is the NDCap update dry casts. Is there a presentation or update from Dr. Potvin or Karen?
Yes, I'm in the initial year of my 3-year appointment representing Plymouth. Actually, I was appointed by the president of the Massachusetts State Senate. So I attend the meetings, and I'm there hopefully to, speak out in for the purposes of making sure that the least amount of harm is done to the citizens of Plymouth. So at the last meeting, there was a summary of what was going on with the radioactive water. There is remaining water, or there was remaining water in May in what's called the dryer separator pit and the reactor cavity. Supposedly during early June, it was to be transferred to a storage thing, which is actually called the Taurus. That's about 382 gallons of water that's supposed to go in there. There is another 450 gallons of radioactive water that remains in the spent fuel pool that will not be removed. When the water goes into the Taurus, there is no plans to reinstall at this time a submersible heater to heat the water to encourage evaporation again. So just as an idea of what's been happening to the water over a period of 2 months, on the 25th of March, there was 844,000 gallons approximately. And about 2 months later, on the 15th of May, there was 831,802 gallons remaining. What that means is that 12,235 gallons of radioactive water was evaporated into the atmosphere. And that was without the heaters being utilized. So that's a concern for those of us that worry about what's going into the air. The dry casks, the spent radioactive fuel rods are what currently is inside the dry casks. Pilgrim has 4,114 fuel assemblies. And those are currently stored in 62 dry casks, which are on the Holtec property at the Pilgrim nuclear plant site. As I found out when I was traveling through Scandinavia, when everybody else was involved in the meetings, Finland, Sweden, France, Italy, Switzerland, and even Canada are currently trying to confront the problem. What are we going to do with these things? So Finland has already created an underground storage facility, which has enough capacity to take all the fuel rods from 4 of their 5 nuclear plants. And they're currently testing it. The other countries are sort of in various stages trying to find out what they're going to do with it. In the United States as a whole, there's 315,000 radioactive fuel assemblies. And they are currently stored in 3,800 dry casks. So what this means is that we don't have any place to put them in this country. There was an attempt to put them for a period of time in New Mexico. And the people in New Mexico were rather upset and didn't want them. And so it was blocked. As of today, because as you probably know from knowing me for the past 7 years, I spent a lot of time just looking at public health data. And the US Supreme Court on this very day actually sent back to lower courts the action that they took to actually block the long-term storage of the dry casks at a different site in New Mexico and another site in Texas. So the Supreme Court said, no, we're sending this back to you. We do not agree. So there is some chance, although it can take some years, that eventually there will be some kind of national temporary storage space for the radioactive fuel rods, which are currently sitting on the property here in Plymouth, and have no place to go except where they're currently sitting. So that's basically an update about what's happened. This is a major problem because there's 94 active nuclear plants in the United States. And they've already generated 90,000 tons of radioactive waste. So when people start talking about putting, small modular nuclear reactors at the sites where the other reactors have been decommissioned and removed, because they say that after all, that's good for the environment. Well, it's good for the environment because we are not generating fuel, nuclear fuel that's coming from generators, which are being powered by various, carbon containing fuels. But it's not taking into consideration the massive contamination risks that are involved with the dry casks storing all these nuclear fuel rods. So that's an update. My appointment runs for 4 years. So I will still be going to the NDCAP meetings once every month, every other month. And I'll attempt to do whatever I can to try to protect the people of the town of Plymouth and surrounding towns against whatever radioactive materials are being released into our environment. So I have, Lorenzo, thank you.
Well, thank you, Dr. Potvin. Any questions from the board members for Dr. Potvin and the NDCAP update?
I do have a question. So at the last the town election, it was the non-binding referendum to not, was there any discussion about that, or is there?
At the last NDCAP meeting, that was not on the agenda, and therefore it was not discussed.
Gotcha, thank you. That was my only question.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Potvin. I think that this is close and near and dear to our hearts regarding the decommissioning of the nuclear power plant and the impacts and potential impacts to our environment and public health. So it's good work that we have someone that's part of that and with your expertise. Thank you.
Yeah, I should also point out that last night, as you may know, Lorenzo, the select board also appointed one additional person to the NDCAP panel. And that person, when I checked to see what the background was, is an environmental and health safety expert and a radiation safety expert that works at Boston Children's Hospital. So I won't feel so lonely at the NDCAP meetings anymore.
Yeah, we might have to have her in future Board of Health meetings to give us some of her perspective as well after she's attended some of the NDCAP meetings.
Yeah, it's a 59-year-old gentleman that lives on Jordan Road.
Oh.
Okay, thank you.
There was also, I should point out, there was a discussion that went on at the meeting about just providing information about the dry casks and short-term storage or long-term storage, what could be happening to them. And a motion was made to include that in a future agenda for the NDCAP Commission. And it was voted on by, I think, the 18 people who were present. And of the 18 present, 9 voted that it should be an agenda item. And the other 9 voted either abstaining or that they voted to no. And because the NDCAP runs under a rather unusual circumstance, which is not the same as Robert's Rules of Order, in order to pass anything, you have to have a majority of the total membership, whether they're present or not. And because there's supposed to be 22 members, 9 was not adequate to pass anything. So that's quite a stir. And there's about 5 members who work for something called the Interagency Working Group from Boston, from the state. They always abstain on every vote until they can discuss it as a group with their supervisors at the state level. So that causes a lot of consternation. So we're trying to find ways to fight against that also. And I've been consulting with MEHB and open meeting law experts to see if that is actually a reasonable way to run the meetings and take votes. So I'm certainly not above making troubles if I find that there's something going on that doesn't seem right. Right. Thank you, Rosa.
Thank you. Moving on to the next agenda item, summer health and safety, insect-borne diseases, sun protection, and water safety. Is that, who's presenting that? Karen is,
Josh,
I had prepared something for that, but Karen and I sort of collaborated and I think Karen will cover most of it. And if she misses anything I've found, I'll add something to it.
okay.
Or I
Thank
would.
you.
Oh, yeah,
Some things
yeah,
too.
yeah, definitely. So I have mine as part of my director's report, but mine is really about mosquitoes, so I can wait to my director report to discuss that because Massachusetts does have its first case of West Nile virus. So again, you'll be hearing it from me an awful lot about how we protect ourselves from mosquitoes, what we can do around our yards to protect ourselves from mosquitoes coming, but that will be my director's report. So if you want to go ahead, Dr. Reed, with what you wanted to do.
I was going to mention about mosquitoes and ticks and those sorts of things as well. Just as a reminder, summer is here, I think. Every other day it changes, but I think. We have had a bit of rain. So the mosquitoes are gonna start to hatch here. To protect your children, you are going to need to use mosquito repellent, and mosquito repellent has DEET in it. And the reminder I want to make is that children less than 2 months should not be using DEET products. The other thing I want to remind you is that you shouldn't be putting it on faces, on hands, because hands go in mouths, and on any broken skin. So even in the older children, be careful as you use DEET. The second thing I wanted to talk about was the sun. Hopefully that will come out and join us for longer periods. Sunscreen, important. Again, there's an age that you should not use that, and that is children less than 6 months. Best to keep those kids covered. So even out on the beach with, you know, long sleeves, short t-shirts that have long sleeves and stuff like that, even in the water. So don't use the sunscreen less than 6 months. And then finally, water safety. I just want to bring up the best thing to keep your children safe in situations where there's water is to teach them how to swim. And we live in a state where we're fortunate enough to have a lot of water with the ocean and the ponds. And I want people to enjoy that, but they do need to protect their kids by teaching them how to swim. The Y has programs, and I think it's important to remember that. So those are my safety updates.
With permission of the chair, I have a few others. As someone who died near drowned when I was young at Hampton Beach, New Hampshire, when I fell off of an inner tube that one of my cousins brought. And I got on it and I didn't get on it properly, I guess, and it flipped me. And I ended up in water that was just waist deep. I was holding my breath and I thought I couldn't hold my breath any longer. No one saw that happen. Even though my parents and grandparents and my brother were all there. And thank goodness, just before I thought I was gonna have to try to breathe and swallow water into my lungs, I got my feet underneath me and I managed to stand up, but it scared the living daylights out of me. So I think it's important. Two things are important here. One is that if you have children that are not really competent swimmers or don't swim at all, you must watch them constantly. And you cannot take your eyes off of the kids even for 20 seconds. Because something like happened to me can happen to anybody and it's very, very quick. And you disappear under the surface of the water, nobody notices and you're gone. The other thing is there are certain, life preservers that can be worn by kids You have to make sure that you give them a life preserver that is just not something that will float them face down. It must be something that will keep their face above the water. I know that Karen has a thing for ticks, but I talked to the police and the fire chief at the Plymouth Arise. And all of us were saying, oh my gosh, here comes 4th of July. Everyone should know, if you don't already know, you should know, that private purchase or use of fireworks in state of Massachusetts is illegal. Every year, there are accidents, there are fires, people, call the police because it's been going on. So the police chief says, I haven't had a 4th of July off in my entire career. And the fire department's in the same situation, and the people who work in the hospital emergency room are usually flooded with people that have been injured. So ideally, you wanna leave the fireworks to the professional experts. If you're gonna use them yourself and it's illegal to do so, you must use extreme caution, because sometimes people actually blow off their hands or their fingers. At least you should never, ever try to relight a firework that does not first go off. Because if you do, you're really asking for trouble. So I think it's important that everybody knows that as well. So have fun, but go down to the waterfront and watch the fireworks on the 3 barges out of.
Exactly.
It's a lot safer to do that.
Leave it to the professionals.
They know what they're doing, they get paid to do it, and they've been doing it for a long time. And I think actually the fire chief said, you wouldn't believe this, but down on White Horse Beach, the fireworks that they set off down there can be even more impressive than the ones they set off in the harbor. And it's just flat out dangerous. You don't have experts doing it. So that's all I have. Thank you, Lorenzo.
Dr. Coffin. Any other further comments on the on this topic of summer health and safety? I'll just add, thank you, Dr. Potvin, for that, because I doubt we'll have a meeting before July 4th, so that's very timely for that kind of reminder for folks to be safe. And then, the update that you provided, Dr. Reed, regarding insect repellent and DEET and sunscreen or sun protection, as you mentioned. When I think about that, I think about health equity and access to those things within the town. And, I don't want to necessarily think about it here, but I think it's something that we should think about having to get a little bit more equity to the Plymouth population that can't. They hear this, but then they say, we can't, I don't have access to that. And it's not a problem to be solved today, but something to think about to provide that kind of health equity to a portion of the population in Plymouth.
Yeah.
Moving on,
Why
I
don't you
think.
show them?
I'm gonna talk about.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Lorenzo, sorry.
Oh, no. Are there any other further comments on this topic?
Yeah, I have a couple on my director's report that I'll get to, that if we could do it then, that would be awesome.
Yes, and then
Yeah.
I think the next piece is the amendments to Plymouth tobacco sales regulation, discussion and possible vote. I know that was, we left quite a chunk of time for that. If someone can walk us through that, Karen, or.
So, the board has been discussing for a while now. We've had 2 public forums, regarding making a change to our tobacco regulations in reference to nicotine pouches. So, but we haven't taken a vote. So, I think that it's time. I think that we've certainly gathered information from the public through our forums. I think the board has had discussion, but again, you drive this bus. You can keep discussing it if you want. It's just, I just wanted to put it on Dr. Potvin and I talked about putting it on the agenda only because we have talked about it. So it may be time now, if the board does choose to take a vote to amend our regulations to include the banning of nicotine pouches, which is what we've been discussing. So, that's why it's there. You can continue conversation, you can, or you can take action. Again, it's all up to what the board chooses to do, but that is something that we have discussed. So that's why we put it on the agenda to see if we wanted to make a motion tonight perhaps and take a vote, or if it's something that you want to continue to keep in discussion mode.
Okay, with the chair's permission,
Yes, absolutely, Dr. Potvin.
as you probably mostly all know, I was the one who authored that entire thing from the model, tobacco sales regulation that was sent to us by the MAHB. They updated it, and I had them review what we already had in place, and they said, you need to change some things. So the copy that I sent to everyone for review actually incorporates those changes. And there was actually some options in the model that they had sent to us. We have received, from, I think the spokesperson for the New England Convenience Store, and Marketing Corporation. I believe the gentleman's name is Peter Brennan. He sent us a letter, and the letter basically said that he didn't think it was right for us to actually ban, the sale of the oral nicotine pouches. But that was just one of the options the NAHB gave us. The other option was that, yeah, they wouldn't be banned, but we would follow what the FDA formally agreed to, which was basically that, the sale of the pouches would be restricted to 6 milligrams per pouch of nicotine. So that's why I put that into the new draft, for approval by the board. So the other option, of course, is you can simply do nothing. We are not required to change that. It's the reason why the change is probably, being pushed by the state MAHB is because those things that are flat out dangerous for one thing, although they can't be sold to, people under the age of 21. And they can't be sold to anybody with flavors. The problem is that they are still, can easily contribute to nicotine addiction. And we're trying to prevent that as much as possible. So to me, personally, I felt that we should adopt the second option, which is just to look at possibility of, putting in place a maximum content of nicotine for the pouches of 6 milligrams per pouch. Also, the FDA, in spite of what some people say, has not approved the nicotine pouches as a tobacco cessation tool. They don't think there's enough statistical information to prove that they are effective. So that's that part of it. There's other parts that we can either do at the same time, or we can do it at some other time. But the main one is, we previously, as a board, decided that we were going to set the maximum number of tobacco sales permits in Plymouth to be one more than the total number that are currently, out there in use. I thought it was, when I looked at our older, 2 years ago, tobacco regulation, there was apparently 58. So I assume that meant there was 57. We voted to make it one more than the total that are currently outstanding. I asked, what happened to those tobacco permits? Is it still 57? And it's now 47?
Yeah, because the board voted you changed it. As they give them up, they go away. And we got rid of the +1. So that number represents what's currently in the town of Plymouth. When currently the regulations say that if I own Karen's Mart and I decide not to close Karen's Mart and I have a tobacco license, it goes to 46. And it stays at 46.
Mhm.
So that's currently what it says.
Unless the board votes to increase the number.
Correct. Anytime you want. Anytime you want. Or change it or whatever, but that's what it says currently.
Okay, so that, must have happened after the 2023 edition of the regulations.
I don't think so. That was,
Cause that's, that was in there, I saw it.
yeah.
So those are the two major changes, basically. So I didn't change the number, I don't think, on the new version of the regulations. But the board can certainly vote to change it to 46, if that's the current number that are outstanding. And the board can vote on whether or not they want to adopt the language about the nicotine, oral nicotine pouches. Should add that the other problem with nicotine pouches is there's other chemicals in them. And the major chemical in the nicotine pouches is actually formaldehyde.
Right. So about the number, the board doesn't have to do anything about the number. The number is gonna be updated by the division as that number changes. So as the regulation states today, it reflects whatever the current number of tobacco licenses are in the town of Plymouth. So if you wanna keep it that way, you don't have to make there's no action to take on that. The action to take, if you choose to, would be about the nicotine pouches. And there's one other one I think that didn't hear you mention it, but you could make the sale of nicotine pouches only be in an adult only tobacco retailer. That's another option too.
I think there was something called smoking bars.
Well, we don't have any of those,
Yes.
but
That's why-
we do have adult only tobacco retailers. So you could also say that that's also another option to consider. So you can ban them outright. You can ban them, anything that's over 6 milligrams. You can make them at any number of milligrams only to be sold in adult only tobacco retailers. You can choose to do nothing and leave it not even in our regulations. So there's several things to think about.
So basically, I think we have to have some further discussion before we take any votes on this. Because it's a complicated matter, but it's very important in our student representatives that were attending our meetings and will be again in the fall, I hope. Felt very strongly that this was a problem for the school-age population. And that nicotine addiction was a very serious problem. And as Dr. Reed could probably vouch, it's even worse for people whose brains are still developing. Because your brain still keeps changing until I think you're in your early to mid-20s. And the brain is much more sensitive to these kinds of issues. And it can cause some really dangerous and very, avoidable things to happen, which actually is very deleterious to the learning ability and to the mental health ability of our high school students. So, would you agree, Dr. Reed?
Absolutely.
There's also something came out recently that now they think marijuana use at a young age has the same deleterious effect. And it's certainly legal in the state, but if people get their hands on, marijuana and they're not of legal age and they start using it a lot, they can suffer some very serious mental consequences. So discussion, does anybody wanna, say other things, or this is up to you, as if you're now the chair and I'm just providing information.
No, I took a look at what was sent out to the board. The 2025 sales regulation, I think there was a sample regulation. And there are some pieces to it that, as you mentioned, the more than 58 tobacco products. So I think we need my opinion is that we should take a look at this and really get to a document that is tighter with all the pieces, especially looking at the 2023 sales regulation. I do agree with Sharon and that there was the regulation took effect July 1st, 2023, and on March 27th, 2024, the Board of Health voted to reduce the number of tobacco sales permits to 47. And that piece, if I can get some clarification from the Public Health Division, meaning, so if we had like CVS decides to no longer sell tobacco as just a national thing, and we have a couple CVSs in Plymouth, I believe, those licenses would be reduced by those.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct. So that number is fluid. It can never go up, but it can go down based upon if people close their shops or whatever and no longer have a tobacco license. So never going up, but fluid in the sense that it can still go down.
So if I
Maybe
may make a
transfer.
suggestion about the wording,
No, we do not allow transfer.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
so I think all we have to do is instead of having a number present, we just have to change the wording so it states that the number of available tobacco permits will be the same as the ones that are currently available,
Okay.
unless the Board of Health votes to increase the number. So
Yeah, we can.
We can do that.
But I agree with Lorenzo. I think it's a little messy. I think that, I think we definitely need to, and we'll start that process. You know, we'll gather all the different versions. We'll get a nice clean one for the board. And then we can start taking a look at what else do we want to add or change once we have a clean product. I think, I agree. I don't think it's quite productive to discuss tonight when we don't really have a clean product. So I think there's still a little like, yeah, so let's my group work on a clean product for you to work off of. I think that would be the best.
And then that would be something that, could be shared with the public before,
100%. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if there's no objections, no other further discussion, we'll move on to the next agenda item, which is the director's report.
So nothing's changing, right now. Thank you. That was very helpful.
All that and
To
nothing?
summarize that. To summarize.
Good night.
Okay, are you gonna share my information? My fantastic information.
Nobody wants to hear your report, I guess.
I know. Okay, so, director's report, thank you so much. First thing, mosquitoes. As Dr. Reed and I both mentioned, there is, a first case of West Nile virus, not in the Plymouth area. It was in Worcester County, but important, yeah, in a mosquito, right.
Yeah, but still.
So again, we talk about this, but it's so important. Dr. Reed mentioned the first part, which has to do with the DEET. Also be aware of peak mosquito hours, which are dusk to dawn. Clothing can help reduce mosquito bites, long sleeves, long pants. I know that's gonna be difficult in the next week when it's going to be in the 90s. Socks, but it's true, socks out when outdoors will keep the mosquitoes away from your skin. I think this is so important. Mosquito proof your home. Drain any standing water. And this time of year, the biggest culprit, two culprits, I should say, wheelbarrows if you're a gardener, and those little kiddie pools. When the kids are done, or your dog for that matter, are done using those little kiddie pools, it's really important that you empty the water and then flip it over. So that if it rains or there's dew or something, that there's not that freestanding water in your yard. And then also take a look around your house. If you have some screens that have some holes in them or they're not fitting quite properly, probably a good time to repair those screens. If anyone has any questions about how to protect your animals, especially horses, there is the Department of Agricultural Resources, Division of Animal Health. And I did add that phone number so that folks could reach out if they had any additional questions or concerns. But I will be talking about this from now until the fall. This will be a continuation of my director's report. Second thing is measles. Again, knock on wood. No measles cases in the state of Massachusetts, but again, important just as folks realize that it does appear at the onset very similar to the flu. But to keep an eye on when that changes to a rash and obviously reach out to your primary care physician. You'll be seeing the beach results. The beach section will be continued now from now into the fall. We test currently for Nelson, Morton, Plymouth. Because Fresh Pond, Hedges and White Horse are what we consider to be not open yet. Meaning we're not, they will be soon, but they're not, but they'll be tested as well. So we test them every week. And then if they come back that there's an issue, they are retested. And we work with an amazing lab who can turn that around for us so that we can try to make sure that our beaches are open if they can be, and we're not waiting to get a lab result because that's important. And as of right now, there are no cyanobacteria advisories. I don't know if you remember last year, we had several that lasted a very long time. The Public Health Excellence Grant, which Plymouth is a part of, the 6-town collaborative. We do have our intern. His name is Ryan. He's working with Devin Donovan, our epidemiologist, on healthcare providers in the 6 towns served by the collaborative. And then I also wanted to point out our tick removal kits, which are fantastic, that we have for all of our towns, all of our 6 towns. And they have a little magnifying glass and a little pair of tweezers and a Band-Aid and some antiseptic and directions on how to protect yourself from ticks and how to remove the tick. So this, Lorenzo mentioned equity and getting them in the hands of people, which is so important. I just want to let you know that the recreation departments in the towns will be distributing them to the kids who sign up for activities. They'll be distributed at the libraries, Center for Active Living, and I know I'm forgetting one. And thank you. And in all public health departments and divisions in the 6 towns. So if anyone would like to have their own Southern Plymouth County Public Health Collaborative tick kit, they can come to see us on the first floor of the town hall or pick one up through recreation or the library or the Center for Active Living.
How many did you buy?
Lots.
Yeah.
We bought lots and we also bought more. Yes, we got approved for the grant to purchase them, and then when people saw how convenient they were, and they're just little, and they throw them in your bag, keep them in your car, you know, whatever you need to do. And I thought it was really important because I didn't realize this until recently, that if you are at a rec program and you get a tick on you, the rec program is not allowed to remove that tick off of that child. The parents are notified or the guardians are notified. So I said how perfect it will be when you come pick up your child and then you are presented with how to remove the tick. So I thought that was very interesting. Public Health Division, which is the office I mentioned on the first floor, we are closing out fiscal year 2025, which is always a magical time for us in the division. So we're working on doing that. And then finally, there are a few more grease trap variances that you'll probably be hearing. We do try to limit them to about 5 or 6 each meeting, but there are a few still out there that will be requesting a variance. But the good news is we have made contact with every single food establishment in the town of Plymouth.
That's amazing.
So we have actually had contact with every single, they're in various stages of completion. You know, not everyone is up and running with their brand new grease traps. However, we have made contact with every single food establishment. So I am very pleased to do that. So kudos to Dana Burke and also to Margaret Coe, our health agent, because that was quite an undertaking. And I'm very pleased to report that we're getting there. So that concludes my report for tonight.
Thank you, Karen. Are there any questions from the board members for Karen?
Well, I had a little information about COVID that just came out recently. I don't know if you want me to go through that or not.
Sure, go ahead, Dr. Potvin.
Um, just so everybody knows what's going on, COVID is still with us. There in the US, there's still 300 deaths each week in the United States from COVID, believe it or not. And now there's another new variant. This one is called Nimbus.
Oh,
I don't know where they get the
like
name
not in my backyard.
from.
I think more cloud. Something else.
It's also called NB.1.8.1. It's derived from the Omicron variant that was present before, but it's now causing about 37% of the nationwide cases. It has, as of the 13th of June, been found in some patients in Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Vermont. It's extraordinarily contagious, much so than the other variants were. Doesn't cause any more serious disease, except it causes one nasty one, which they have nicknamed razor blade throat.
Ooh.
And they claim that it feels as if you had broken
Oh.
glass in your throat. And some people are getting that. The good news is the current booster is protective, at least to some extent. But the resistance, because of the way these things keep changing, just like the flu, it only is really protective for about 3 to 6 months. So there's still a need to get boosters for COVID if anybody is willing to do it. But, you know, just be aware that what we have to deal with it is what we had before. We have vaccines, you know, we have masking, and we have, you know, personal isolation to try to keep from infecting other people. There's coughing, sneezing, all kinds of nasal congestion goes on. And there's a few other symptoms, but it's pretty much like the previous one, except for the razor blade throat. I said, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
That's nasty.
So, that's all I had under this particular agenda item. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Potvin. Moving on, we'll have request for future Board of Health agenda items. I think to streamline this a little bit, we all have our email addresses. If you could send that off to myself and Dr. Reed, if you have any agenda items, we'll take a look at those over the next week or two and then formulate that and try and incorporate those into the next meeting. Which
Okay. With the chair permission, I'd just like to suggest one that we do every year, and it's very popular. You may remember that we bring somebody in who's an expert in ticks from the county.
Yeah, Blake Dinius.
And Blake is extremely busy and he gets a lot of requests. And so if we want to do that again, we probably need to contact Blake as soon as we can so we can get on his list.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you,
And
Dr.
then,
Potvin.
Lorenzo, just, the Thursday before the Board of Health meeting is when I usually meet with the chair and the vice chair to formulate the, agenda for the following week. So, we'll continue with that. If you're okay with that, we'll continue with that process. So if folks could get ideas to us, prior to that Thursday. So when Lorenzo, Dr. Reed and I meet, we can have people's ideas on that agenda. That
We
would be
do it
great.
on Zoom, so he knows that.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you, Dr. Reed. We Zoom. We don't meet in person, we Zoom. And it could be, and I'll send you an email, Lorenzo, and you and I, and Dr. Reed, we can work on an agreeable time for everybody as well. So that's flexible as well.
Perfect. I think that week would be great. You know, I'm a big planner by nature in my current work, and having that some runway to kind of work through those is always good. But also, you know, to give people time to submit their board members to submit any agenda items that come near and dear to their hearts that we should discuss. So thank you.
Great.
Looks like the next agenda item is setting the date for the July Board of Health meeting. And I know, Karen, you mentioned that there's some grease trap variances. I'm just wondering, just for discussion of this, I know we used to have 2 board meetings a month. Is there a demand need? Should we consider that, or should we stick with the one board meeting a month? Is that enough to handle the demand for variances and things like that?
Yeah, as of right now, we have nothing pending in our variance folder. I was just telling folks that there's still maybe. And I would try to keep it at a minimum, not to take up the vast majority of time, because tonight, we had a lot, but no, there's nothing in our pending folder right now actually for anything.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say July probably only definitely needs one. I don't think you need two in the month of July. July is usually a quieter month anyway for business.
Okay. I'll take recommendations from the board. I'm pretty flexible, but July 2nd looks like it's either the 2nd or 16th. So what is the board desire?
I will not be around on the 16th, but I don't know if the second's a tough one. So yeah.
I won't be around on the 16th and I won't be around on the 2nd.
Oh, so you're not around on either one?
Yeah.
So
I'm of course available for either.
I think Dr. Reed was hoping that the July meeting.
I
think that was on her list, her agenda tonight.
I'm not available on the 16th.
All right, so I would have to say
Sounds
we
like
have
the second.
1, 2, 3 already who say they can't do the 16th. So
Right.
there goes because Deb's not here, so I don't know what Deb would say. So for the 5 of you that are present, you don't have a quorum for the 16th.
Right. So we'll do the 2nd then.
You won't have me on the 2nd. But
Okay.
that's okay. I'm sure Margaret can handle it appropriately, so I think she'll be absolutely fine.
Lorenzo, can we put it as a placeholder, and if there's nothing pressing, we skip the 2nd? And go to the first week of August?
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
think
you
that
Margaret worked a lot, but.
yeah, I think that there's just some pressing things. Does it have to be one of those 2 dates? What other dates are there in
Can't because
Room.
Yeah, we're limited by space. That's the issue.
Okay.
So we have reserved this room for the 1st and 3rd Wednesdays of the month. That's why we put the 2nd and the 16th. Now, I can certainly try to find us a different spot. I don't think advisory and finance are quite as busy now as they are when we approach town meeting. So we might have an opportunity to have another room. If you wanted to kind of do off schedule, we have enough time to say do something on the 9th. You won't be there? No, I think Amy's out.
I won't.
Amy's
In July.
Tough, no, it is, I mean, if there's, like I said, if there's something pressing, I would recommend we hold the 2nd. If nothing comes up on the, like, there's no urgent business that must be taken care of on the 2nd. I would ask that we go to the first week of August, and then we can kind of bookend that month to make sure nobody's waiting too long, but keep it open in the event that all of a sudden something pops open on the 2nd and we have to have a meeting.
Yeah, and we and the division will support the board whatever day you pick. I mean, that's just goes without saying. So whatever you decide to do, we make it work.
So I think hearing all of that, and I can echo back, we'll put a placeholder for the 2nd. And if there's an opportunity that's better for the rest of the board members, I know the 9th is going to work, or some off-cycle meeting, if there's a room available, we'll kind of go through that with emails to each other to solidify that. But we'll put a placeholder for the 2nd, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. Sounds
Thanks,
good.
everyone. And then the final agenda item, adjournment. So if I can get a motion,
I move we adjourn.
second,
Well, second.
thank you. Dr. Potvin,
Yes.
Dr. Reed,
Yes.
Ms. Palmer,
Yeah,
Ms. Payne,
yeah.
and myself, yes, thank you. The meeting is adjourned.